Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us on today. My name is Seth Whitehead, and I'm the Executive Director of the Illinois Petroleum Resources Board. And today we're going to tell you about some oil and gas career opportunities. Just a second here. Let me get my share screen on. All right, first off, a little bit of information about the Illinois Petroleum Resources Board. We were created in 1998, and our mission is to educate the public and educators about the Illinois oil production industry. And including in that mission is to educate folks on career opportunities in the industry. We're voluntarily funded by the oil production industry, the producers and royalty owners in Illinois. Starting off, just giving an overview of the three major sectors of the oil industry. The upstream sector, which is the most prominent in you guys' neck of the woods down here in southeastern Illinois. That's the production side of the industry. Then there's also the midstream, which includes storage and pipelines, and downstream, which includes refining. What makes Illinois unique is the fact that all three sectors of the industry are very prominent in our state. We have 4 refineries, a major oil storage facility in Patoka, and of course the production side, which is the most active in southeastern Illinois, including Wayne County and White County, and just basically you guys' area. So with that in mind, 1/4 of Illinois' oil and gas industry workforce is at or near retirement age. And with the fact that there's 16,000 plus oil and gas industry jobs in the state, and that the average salary is $104,000 for the average salary in these jobs, which is quite a bit higher than the private sector average. There's a really good opportunity for a career in oil and gas if that's something you would like to pursue. Taking a look at Wayne County specifically, Wayne County has a really strong oil production industry. There's more than 200 folks employed directly in the industry. And with the multiplier that the oil and gas industry has, it's about 5.2%, multiplier is 5.2. There's over 1,000 jobs in the county that are supported by the industry. And on average, the direct jobs in the industry pay higher than the private sector average at about $68,000 per year. And as you guys can see here, here's some notable companies in Wayne County, but this is just a partial list. There's a wide array of oil production industry companies in Wayne County. You may have read that we may not need oil anymore in a few years, or that the oil industry is on the way out, but that isn't really supported by the facts. And you don't have to take our word for it. The Department of Energy has put out the following stats on the petroleum demand moving forward in the United States. Currently, oil and natural gas are responsible for about 70% of U.S. oil consumption. By far the biggest source of energy in the United States. And what may surprise a lot of people is it's projected to be about that same share even going out through 2050. So over the next 30 years, as the Department of Energy says here in the quote down at the bottom of the slide here, petroleum remains the most consumed fuel in the United States through at least 2050. Here's another slide or another chart by the Department of Energy, and it even shows that assuming low-cost renewables, that oil, which is the gray chart or the gray bar right here, is still the largest source of energy in the United States, even 30 years from now. And, you know, gasoline demand is going to remain strong, but probably decline a little bit over the next 30 years. So you may be questioning, well, how could oil demand remain that strong? Well, there's a lot of different uses for oil, and a lot of people overlook them. So I'd like to cover those right now in this following video that we put together.
You might have read that we don't need oil anymore, or that the oil industry is in an existential crisis. But in reality, the world is going to need a lot of oil for many decades to come. Here's why. Oil is most commonly associated with gasoline. But did you know that 55% of petroleum demand is non-gasoline? Petrochemicals represent as much as 15% of petroleum demand and are used to make more than 6,000 everyday products, many of which are absolutely essential. Without oil, healthcare workers would be without dozens of tools that save lives. Computers, smartphones, and a myriad of tech gadgets would not exist, and even renewable energy infrastructure could not be manufactured. 20% of petroleum demand is distillate fuel, primarily consumed as diesel fuel. Diesel is used to distribute necessities such as food and medical supplies, and is the dominant fuel used by modern farming equipment to feed the world, and there is no scalable substitute. Roughly 10% of petroleum demand is jet fuel. Oil is absolutely essential, not only for fueling commercial and private jets, but the aircraft used by our military forces to defend our freedoms. Again, there is no scalable substitute. Though electric cars will increase in popularity, it is essential to note that there are currently 265 million gasoline or diesel-powered vehicles on American roads, and just 2 million electric vehicles. And then 70% of electric cars are made from petroleum. Oil is also used to make asphalt, synthetic rubber, and many other products we take for granted. The wide-ranging and essential use of oil is one reason that even assuming widespread compliance with the Paris Climate Accords, the world is still expected to use 67 million barrels per day in 2040. The world is going to need a lot of oil for many years to come. That said, it is better to produce as much as possible here in the United States and continue to reduce our foreign imports. Find out more at IPRB.org.
All right, so as we covered there, we're going to need a lot of oil for a long time to come. And why is that present a good career opportunity for folks who might be interested in an oil and gas career? Well, 25% of the oil and gas workforce in Illinois is 55 or older, and 50% of the US workforce will retire within the next 10 years. So there's going to be high demand for skilled positions in the oil and gas industry. And just the inaccurate perception that the future of oil and gas demand is in a permanent decline just isn't supported by the facts. So we're going to need oil for the foreseeable future, decades, in fact. There's a lot of negative attitudes among young people, but if you're able to take a pragmatic approach and look at the facts, then there's no doubt that there's a tremendous opportunity to have a career in the oil and gas industry. Few facts about the industry. On average, it pays over $100,000, and I'm not saying every position pays that much, but that is the industry-wide average. That's 86% higher than the private sector average, and that's because these are high-skilled jobs, and smart people are required to do them. So that's the reason the pay is that high on average. There's more than 75 different careers. You can work outside, work at the desk. You can go college degrees or just experience in a high school diploma. There's a wide variety of options. And we have the three of the top highest starting salaries of all fields in the United States, and for the top 10 highest paying majors. Just taking a look, and we've got a fact sheet that I'll send to your teachers, and so they can distribute this. There's 9 major career families in the oil production industry side, and like I said, a wide variety of options for whatever interest you have and whatever education level you have. There's an opportunity for you in the oil and gas industry, and we'll send around that fact sheet so you guys can take a look at that as well. Typical education, also wide ranging. If you want to be a geologist, there are several programs. A majority of the folks in the Illinois Basin that are geologists went to SIU Carbondale, but all the state universities practically have geology programs. If you want to be an engineer, petroleum engineer, the Missouri University of Science and Technology is an excellent option. If you are wanting to get into the trades, welding, electrician, anything like that, there's always opportunities in the oil and gas industry. And just the Southeastern Illinois community colleges including Frontier, have several programs that you can get into and could lead to a lot of, you may not work specifically in the oil and gas industry, but if you're an electrician or a truck driver or anything that can be like that, you will have plenty of work in the oil field. Getting your foot in the door, take advantage of any high school vocational programs, any internships. Internships are the best way to make a good impression on a potential employer, and just education. If you're going in the STEM field or any technical field, you're going to have a career either in the oil and gas industry or something else lined up for you. So check out any college degree programs or any certification programs for opportunities there. All right, guys, I wanted to make sure and keep that about 10 minutes. Somehow I managed to do it, and I'm going to hand it over to some folks who know a whole lot about industry careers. I'm going to start off with the Fairfield High School alum, Ross Basnett. He is a geologist at Campbell Energy just down the road in Carmi. He went to SIU Carbondale, and he's got a ton of experience in the oil and gas industry. And he's going to tell you a little bit about what Campbell looks for in an employee and his career. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Ross.
Thanks, Seth. Appreciate that. I am a Fairfield alumni, class 2005. So I'm happy to be able to participate today and try to encourage you all and maybe seeking a field or a career in the oil field. Some of the stuff that we look for for a potential employee down at Campbell Energy, it really depends on the job. But what it doesn't depend on is we do like everybody to be a good person, a self-starter, a friendly person. You know, it's always a lot nicer to be able to work with someone that you get along with versus somebody that can't get along with a lot of people. We look for hard workers, people that, like I said, are self-starters and don't need somebody to have to hold their hand or babysit them to get a job done. And the ones that aren't afraid to work and to go out and get dirty if need to get dirty. And we have a wide variety of careers. A lot of people think of the oil field and they think of just guys that work on rigs. In the office, we could range from accountants to landmen, engineers, geologists, you name it, even just up down to a normal secretary. As far as the field goes, you know, electricians, welders, diesel mechanics, heavy machine operators, roustabouters, truck drivers. It takes a lot of hats and a lot of skills to be able to keep producing oil in this basin, and to be able to keep doing what everybody around here does for a living. And it's not just guys that work on the rigs. It's not just guys that are geologists, or not just guys that are or gals. And that's another thing. It's not just a man-dominated industry anymore. There are several women that work in this field, both in the field and in the office type setting. I guess a few little bits of advice that I'd have would be it's still okay, even though you're in your later years of high school. It's still okay to dream and dream big. It's okay to want to better yourself and choose a career that you can see yourself doing and having fun with. So having a passion and having a drive behind that is a great thing to have. And having a positive attitude when you show up for work. And everybody always knows that it's okay to ask questions. You've always heard that the only dumb question is the question that's not asked. So whatever you can learn and do what you can do while you're learning to know that you want to better yourself in your future career, do it. Be the sponge, ask questions, soak up whatever you can from anybody that's done the job before you, and be confident in yourself. That's a few of the things that I have. I'll turn it back over to Seth. And if y'all have any questions, Ms. Robson, I believe has my email. If not, I'll reach out to her. You guys can compile a list of questions. I live in Fairfield, so I'd be more than happy to do whatever I can to answer anything that y'all have. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ross. And of course, once everything gets back to normal, we'd be glad to do a presentation in person. And of course, Ross, go Mules, right? exactly.
That's right, go Mules.
All right. We'll also want to invite in Mike Payne. He's a petroleum engineer with 41 years experience in the oil and gas industry. So Mike's seen it all over his career, and he'd like to talk to you guys and give you some advice on if you're interested in a career in oil and gas, the path you should take. So hand it over to Mike now.
Well, it's a privilege to speak to you this day, and just want to make sure that you realize that you can spend your entire career in the Illinois basin. There are opportunities outside the basin that are in the oil field, but I've spent my entire 41 years in this area, grew up in this area on the west side of the, or east side of the state in Wabash County, so not too far away from Fairfield. But you know, the industry's been good to me, and I very much have been blessed by what friendships and working relationships I've you know, gained in that 41 years. So, you know, as you you know, look to your future, the main thing is get all the education, get all the training that you can. As Ross mentioned, there are just a myriad of career opportunities in the oil industry within the Illinois basin. Just soak up and get everything you can, because it will prove valuable for you as you grow in your career. You know, just gain, be hungry, be thirsty for knowledge. It's out there. There's a lot of experience that's going to be leaving the basin. I'm one of them. You know, retirement is closer than, you know, my beginning of my career now. So just look for every opportunity, take advantage of it, and do your best, and you'll succeed well. And with that, I'll just turn it back over to Seth.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mike. And just let me get back in presenter view here. Well, I want to thank you guys again for having us today. Just some closing thoughts. We're going to need oil and gas for decades to come. So the jobs are going to be there, despite of what you may have read or heard on the news. The oil and gas careers pay well. As Mike just covered, there's opportunities right here in Illinois, right in your backyard, and a wide range of career options, whether you want to work inside, outside, if you want to go to a four-year school, if you want to go to a trade school. So if you're interested, take the initiative and get your foot in the door. And once again, we'll be sending some supplemental information. And we just want to thank you guys for inviting us on, and hope to talk to you in person soon. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you all.